Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna refine this beautiful Scots pine. So now the Scots pine is completely wired. What we did, because we was working in group for the rewiring of the tree, I put all the thicker wire, so number 2 and number 1.5, and then the students in the different area, they fine wire. This is a technique I use when I have to do a tree in a short amount of time, and I have my student that can help me. Otherwise, if I'm by myself or with another student, what I do, I start refining from the lower branch, wire and refine up to the top. In this case, I prefer to have all the tree wired, and now I can start from the lower left branch, reset the pad, and work my way up to the apex. This is already an old tree, the structure is good, we have just to reset the line of the pad to recreate that rhythm and harmony between all the green masses to really frame and give this beautiful refined touch to this old tree. I always start the work from the lower pad up. So even before touching the branches, what I want to see is analyze the structure and visualize how I want to set the pad. I have 1 and 2 inner branches, and then I have this outside one. So my idea is to create 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, creating a nice rhythm between them. So what I do, I lift up this section, open up all the lower section of the pad, like this, keep some branches to create volume, this inner one, move away this, and then what I do, starting from one side, I create my external line of the pad like a hand. So I always keep my scissor so I can remove some unnecessary branch and eventually do some cleaning. I start creating my line and aligning all the external shoots. This is an inner branch that goes up, out, up, out. So I set my line all the way from left to the right side. Here we are. This is the line. I'm not concerned still on the cleaning of the line. Now I create the volume. So I start again from left, lift up the little branches. If there are too many, I clean. And according to their position, I use them to a different part of the volume, filling everything inside. What I try to do is also to have all the different shoots almost the same distance one from the other. So this gives to the pad a nice geometry, also in terms of the visual we give to the different section. Here is another I can use inside here. This one I can lift. This one I can lift. And this one here. So you see, line and volume. I still have this one to fill this gap. Move a little bit. Using the wire that arrive almost at the end, I can lift a little bit my shoot, putting back the shoot in the direction of the light, so the new candle don't have to struggle to lift itself up in spring. And here we are, the base of the pad is done. Now what I can do, I will lift up the tree to the higher height, and then I can clean and refine the underline and refine the volume. Now that this section is done, I can start with this other structural line. So I figure out I wanna start my pad from this position and go all over way back here. So I start opening up again my longest branches. That would be the one creating the edge of the pad. I have a shoot that is, I know I see it's too long, so I can shorten it. Here. This is the other one. Here a good branch for the volume. The idea is to create a good continuity with the previous pad I did, but in the same time have them in two different levels. So doing that, I can start building my rhythm from the lower pad up to the next one. This is very, very important when we refine a tree, and especially on a Scots pine, because creating these steps and gently connecting them one to the next, we create this nice flow on the way up to the top. And also this gives to the tree a nice idea of continuity. This is very, very important. Otherwise, we risk to create only steps from one pad to the other. And at the end of the work, the canopy will result boring. This is something we don't want to do. So again, I start my way here right, create this little connection, work my way left, and now I can start using a couple of inner branches. I can start building the little volume for my pad, so I don't have only the external line, but I have also the inner volume I can use to fill the pad. Here we are. Same as the previous pad. I want to refine this external line by removing couple of whipping needle. Here we are. This one we can get rid of. And now I can even open up a little bit more that gap, cleaning a couple of needles, and doing that I have my second step. So 1, 2, and now is the turn of this one. So I want to visually remove a part of the structural line of the pad. So I move across this one here. It has to be higher than this. So I get more or less the idea where I want to create this pad. Start opening up again the external line, left to right, you see, here we are. And doing that, I can have again the base of my pad done. A good branch here for the volume, another long one I can use the side, these two here, and close the line in this position. Here we are. Now we focus on the volume of the pad. And now I can use this one in the inner section. Sometimes where the needle and the shoots are too dense, we can remove one or two of them so we can recreate more space. This is a very mature tree, so we can do that and give more room to new inner buds to develop. And here we are with the next one. In this section, we'll come across a bit more. And here we are. So you can see how creating this is one pad, one branch, but we split into 3 parts and we move them fluidly from one direction to another one. So we start creating a nice movement. Now that we set this lower external point, we have to work in the other side and set the right external point to go up to the top. Now William will set this right lower branch. So again, we will do structure, line, volume. Always structure, line, and volume. Okay. Slowly bending down, exactly. Now, all the longer branches, puoi muovere indietro quell'altro che ti dà fastidio, quello dietro, muovilo un po' indietro, perfetto. Now, all the longer branches for the external line. Lift up the one for the volume. Ce n'è ancora uno che può usare nella linea esterna che è questo, esatto. Adesso parti da sinistra e tiri su tutti i ciuffetti, tutti gli esterni. Lift up all the external and create the line. That one give a little bit movement, perfetto. Nice and geometric. Se i fili degli aghi pulisci, lì ci sono degli aghi che scendono, bravissimo. I like to say this when I work on the tree, even when I wire and also when I refine. It's like we are like 3D printers. So we start one direction, move to the other, and again and again and again until the pad is done. The same with the wire, start inside, wire outside, outside, outside. And it's the same when we do pads. We create the structure, flat everything, create the nice and round hand of the outside, and then pushing down the inner branches to create the volumes. Now you can start creating the volume. That branch is much better here, exactly, and that one will be the one inside of the gap. Now going right again, we move down those other upper branches and keep building nice volume. This branch can come here, so we can create a nice little step using this branch, this one here. Now you clean the underline, eventually if you need to clean some of the needle from the base, always. Esatto. Questa va sistemata un pochino, sistemiamo tirandolielo su, bene. And if there is some shoot that is too strong, we can already remove the central bud and keep only the two external one, so we can remove some strength from the very strong shoot. Very good, and now we keep going with another layer here and with the frontal one in this position. That will be the continuity from this pad to this direction, because the overall movement of the tree is left. Now that the right part is set, we can dedicate some time to clean the lines, reset a little bit some length, and so also that section is done, and we can move to the next one. So now the right section and the left one are done. You can see the nice flow between the pads. We move this frontal to create a visual connection with these other pads here, and also to remove a little bit of the strength of the central part of the trunk. Now we have to work on this section. We have already a little guide wire in the back, so what we want to do, we want to push down a little bit more the structure, like this. So this pad will be lower than this. Okay. Now the second pad. Again, the external line first. Lift up this, push this closer. So this section is too strong, so I can prune this section away and use some of the smaller branches, so I can have a little bit more compact pad. Here we are. So you see we have this section right, and then move back to this one. One inner branch can be used for volume, so I can move this here, and this one can come up here. And now I can start coming forward with this little branch, and I will do the same, but just in a little bit higher level. Here, here, here. So this is the next step. So now that also this section is done, what I want to do is a little bit give a hold by lifting up a little bit this branch that is a little bit whipping. So what I do, I have a screw in this position. I can secure a piece of 0.5 wire to the structural wire, and guide wire the branch in the upper section, reducing a little bit the space between, you see, just that little one, that little bit, reducing this space. Here we are, and give just a little bit of hold to the lower branch. Here we are. Nice movement, nice connection between the pads. Now we can keep working, and then we're gonna see what's going on when we reach the apex after we finish the back part of the tree. All the lower section of the tree is done, and William is finishing up the back part, the lower back part. I can start working in this section here. We have a big gap between here and the upper part. So what I want to do, I want to push more down this pad to fill this negative space and have a better transition between the lower part and the apex. I have a couple of structural pieces of wire. I can force a little bit in order to step up this section, and also this branch in this part will reconnect with the part that William is working. So again, now that I set the structural part of the branch, I can start here and set all my outside line. Always remember, set the line, lift up whatever you plan to use for the volume, and keep building your hand going out. This can go down and also open a little bit. We can also decide to step. For example, when we come out with this line, we can eventually step up and move the edge of the line a little bit higher to create this nice step, and this will donate a little bit of dynamism to the pad. Here is, and again, now starting here, I can feel the volume. Here we are, and now we have just to fill this inner part, pulling this branch. So better move this branch around the chin, and then I can step another layer. Now that we set in position this pad, we have to work in the back of the tree to set a pad behind that negative space in order to create a depth. So William is working to create a pad in that position, and that will help us to create a depth in the overall canopy. Now that the project is almost finished, I generally take a good picture of the tree with my camera, focusing on the center of the tree to align all the pads, and this helped me to create a good image of a bidimensional image of the tree, and understand where I can modify a little bit the shape of some branches, some outside lines, especially the outer lines of the pads, and adjust and clean my little pads, eventually also move some of them. Now, for example, in the top part, I see a couple of pads too close together, couple of shoots that are out of the overall triangular shape. So looking at the image, I can really define those little details that sometimes are difficult to see when you just look directly on the tree. But looking at the picture, I can have everything nicer and cleaner to help me correct some even little mistake that when we also rush a little bit to finish the tree, we can miss. And especially in the rhythm between the pads, is important to understand all the little connection between when a pad finish and when the next one start to fill up the positive and negative spaces. So I always take some time before saying, okay, now is finished. Especially in the center part, I have to move a couple of branches, move to give, the directionality of the tree to the left, because always in a tree, the left, in this case, the left part is the dynamic part, and the right part is the counterbalance. So also the apex has to basically look more to the left part where we have our saccieda, our first branch, that also in terms of volume and rhythm is the bigger one. Some little more cleaning, and now the work is finally finished. Very happy about the result, some more detail, and then here we are. It's very, very important to notice the structure of the branches, how happened the division between primary, secondary, tertiary, and finer branches, always opening up like a hand, and especially the little one, they jump, they go and they run straight to the line to open and create the pad. The geometry and the structure of the pad of the conifer, of a pine especially, is very important. The division between all the orders of ramification are very, very nice to see from underneath the tree, and they have to be as clean as possible in order to have an overall beautiful look. And here we are with the final result. I'm pretty happy about the work that we did together with my student William. The flow of the tree is very nice. It's a very nice and feminine tree with this beautiful movement, elegant, good structure, good pads. It can keep maturing and be a beautiful bonsai one day. This is a tree that is featured in my bonsai book, Bonsai Dream. There is a complete article about the first styling of the tree, probably 6 or 7 years ago, when I bent down the main structure. The two branches that build most of the tree were bent down extremely to recreate the canopy and the good connection with the first section, elegant section of the trunk. So If you are interested to see all the evolution of this tree, send me an email and I will give you all the information how to buy my book. I hope you enjoy this lesson, this refinement lesson. And thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for following my YouTube channel. See you at the next.